In today's broadcast, I, Jaden Folsom, address the controversies in the Roe v. Wade case. In today's segment, we shall hear from the cultural and historical perspectives of several different individuals. In our discussions, we will address their opinions on the Roe v. Wade decision, along with how they feel media has portrayed this topic, and what sources they generally turn to. Stereotypes that may be made about abortion primarily resonate from the biases created by the news. Media bias in the news, as many of us could have assumed, originates all the time. Media is a business and will do whatever it takes to reel in the most views. From pro-abortion to pro-life, activists across the nation conjugate together to address the overruling of the 50-year piece of legislation, Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade, prior to its reversal, establishing the right of any woman across the nation to have access to an abortion. All right, gents, to wrap up our video today, we're going to discuss in a little Groupon session, the facts of Roe v. Wade, as well as the controversies that media brings with it. For our first question today, in retrospect, what opinions do you guys hold for the newfound ruling on Roe v. Wade?
I think that it is a really crucial ruling that shouldn't have really taken place, because before there was not really much controversy on the law, because everyone was fine. They had the right to do it, and then for some reason they chose to overturn it, and now there's a lot of controversy. So I think it was kind of not needed because we were fine before.
Got it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that women have their own rights and they should be able to do whatever they want with their own body. And by putting a law onto what they can and cannot do is not right.
Okay. I agree with you guys, and I'd just like to add, I feel like there was no issue before. It was up to those individuals on what they wanted to do. It had no effect on other individuals who were against the Roe v. Wade ruling. I think by overruling the new Roe v. Wade, we've only created more issues, and who knows what's going to come in the next coming years.
Me personally, I disagree. I think that the states being able to make abortion legal or illegal is fine. I think that if the states want to make that decision, they could do that.
All right. So the next question we have is, where do we believe that this decision will lead to in the future, and what controversies might we expect to see?
Go.
I think that this issue is based off the states. So if the states want to make abortion legal, illegal, then that's up to them. And I feel like this issue is not really going to go past that. And if somebody has a problem with California not allowing abortion, they'll probably just have to move somewhere else that does allow it.
I agree with Caleb. I'd just like to add, I believe that this could cause controversy, but as of now, I think the worst of it has come. There may be another cycle, but as of right now, there's not much else we can do other than just do what's best for ourselves, promote women for the rights that they have, and just hope for the best in the future.
For the next question, what type of critical lenses have you seen portrayed, and what are the effects do you think that these critical lenses have on today's society?
So historically and culturally, first of all, there's been a big backlash off the Roe v. Wade. It's a really controversial topic, and just culturally, I feel like the United States has kind of become divided over it. And historically, that also leads in abortion was federally legal until Roe v. Wade. So there's just a ton of changes and possible changes that can happen with this issue here.
Me personally, I agree with Caleb. I believe there's a historical and cultural effect with the change of Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade has been around for 50 plus years, giving the right to women to have an abortion. To take it away now, I believe there's going to be a lot of conflict with how this is going to affect the future based on what has happened in the past. In a cultural perspective, I believe this, based off of what I've researched, This is going to affect a lot of women, but mainly the majority of those who are of less benefit, primarily those of a black background. Like, black women are more likely to need an abortion, and without it, they're going to be putting themselves more at risk. And yeah, that's kind of what I got to say about that.
How does this ruling affect women across America today, in your opinion?
Well, from what I've seen on the media coverage, that there's a lot of women now writing that they've lost their right to their own body. And like for some cultures and like around the world, like, oh no.
You're good. Keep going. Okay. Thanks, Pranav. We're going to move on to the next guy. What do you think, Wes? What is your opinion on how this has affected women across the world?
I think that every woman has their own right to choose, and by putting this boundary on them, it is unfair and unright and goes against the Constitution.
All right. Thank you, Wes. Any input, Caleb?
No.
No? That's fine. All right. In my opinion, I think media has a pretty biased standpoint on all topics, not just Roe v. Wade, but in the circumstance of Roe v. Wade, there are plenty of different options depending on your political views. It's just a matter of going through and citing your sources and making sure you're finding the correct topics in order to decipher which information is true and which is false. Oftentimes we'll find some topics that are overly leftist and overly rightist, but it all depends on what's your perspectives and if you come into it with a clean slate, not having a bias yourself. All right, thanks for your input on that one, gents. For our next question, I'd like to ask, how do you feel about the way media has portrayed this topic? What do you think has been positive about it, and what do you think has been negative?
I think mostly it's just like they're all pro like abortion, like you're right. So I think that's good. I think the side that is pro-life doesn't really like tend to go onto social media. They're more like religious and stay to like nature and stuff. So I don't know. I feel like the two sides aren't equally shown on social media and stuff like that.
I would agree. I feel like the media portrays a very biased view on the Roe v. Wade ruling.
I'm here today with
Anais Romero.
And today we were talking about the Roe v. Wade case, and we were looking just to get a little bit of a perspective from you, what your opinions are on the Roe v. Wade case, and like what sources you generally turn to.
So I think that Roe v. Wade it should be like a constitutional right to like privacy and Medicare, because it's a medical procedure, in my opinion. And my sources are, I actually did a project on this where I researched abortions throughout, like, for my speech. And my sources are typically like the CDC to find statistics about abortions.
Your name?
My name's Kaylee.
Today I'll be interviewing Kaylee. So I'd like to ask you, like, what do you think about the Roe v. Wade controversies?
I think every woman should have a right to know what she wants to do with her body and make decisions with her body. That's what I think.
And then is there like, do you find a lot of your sources from like social media, or is it like news mainly?
I think like I mainly see stuff about it like on Instagram.